Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. First of all, I wish you all health and safety. Let's hope and pray that soon we will be able to get rid of the coronavirus that has brought our global system to a standstill. Second, I'm really grateful to Dr. Rabia Akhtar for organizing this timely webinar on Kashmir. You are a mover and shaker in the political and strategic fields, and we all respect you for that. My tribute also to Mr. Owais Rauf, Chairman, Board of Governors, University of Lahore, for his outstanding leadership of this institution with great vision and drive. I will begin with my own 6-point agenda on Jammu and Kashmir that I have been pursuing since 2016. 1. Forge unity in your ranks. Don't speak in different conflicting voices. That is cacophony, not policy. 2. Go back to the international community and multilateral forums, including the United Nations, international financial institutions, parliaments, custodians of international humanitarian law, and global civil society. The sporadic bilateral processes with India have proved to be illusory and counterproductive. 3. Leverage the strength of the 10 million strong diaspora community, which has turned Kashmir into a genuine international movement. 4. Use all tools of communication, the traditional media, social media, research journals, think tanks, and universities to disseminate the true narrative of Kashmir. 5. Make Pakistan and Azad Kashmir strong, economically, militarily, and strategically. You cannot win freedom for Kashmir ever if Pakistan is weak or is perceived to be weak. Finally, interface with the enlightened Indian political forces and members of civil society who speak up for the rights of the Kashmiris and have even advocated their right to self-determination. They should be your potential allies. Now I turn to the changes before and after the coronavirus pandemic. Before COVID-19 lockdown, Kashmir was under siege and occupation. Today, Kashmir completes 9 months of that siege. You would recall that shortly after the August 5 invasion of Kashmir by India, 900,000 troops, thousands of young boys and children, as young as 10, 11, and 12, were abducted and interred in concentration camps, which Indian CDS Bipin Rawat euphemistically called de-radicalization camps. An Indian NGO established that the number of these boys was more than 13,000. That's not all. Thousands of our Hurriyat leaders and political activists all are under detention. A reign of intimidation, torture, killings, blindings, disappearances, and terrorism was unleashed on caged Kashmiris. Kashmiri women were objectified and were projected as spoils of war. India calls this normalcy. Well, normalcy of a graveyard, I would say. But these actions were and are a genocide, ethnic cleansing, war crimes, and crimes against humanity. During that period, fortuitously, there was a groundswell of support for Kashmiris and a palpable opprobrium against the BJP and RSS. The mainstream international media, the European Parliament, British Parliament, US congressional committees, all called out India for its heinous crimes and horrifying practices. Even the Security Council held informal sessions on Kashmir after 5 decades. Despite this uproar, the irony was that the most powerful nations were tight-lipped about the horrors, hamstrung by their economic and strategic ties with India. But even before COVID-19, the attention on Kashmir was vaporizing because of Brexit, President Trump's impeachment inquiries, and other developments. COVID-19 brought the second lockdown for Kashmiris. So they are under a twin lockdown, the first more lethal than the second one. The fascist BJP RSS regime decided to use this opportunity to the hilt. They hunt down young boys and kill them in staged encounters. Posthumously, they dubbed them as militants supported by Pakistan. They do not release their bodies to their families for fear of large funerals, and instead inter them in unmarked graves. But the most vicious step they took was to introduce the so-called new domicile rules that would open the floodgates for import of Hindus from all over India to settle in the occupied Jammu and Kashmir. Kashmir's special rights to permanent residence, acquisition of property, education, and employment, all are gone. This is an evil plan to grab Kashmiris' land, property, farmland, forests, livelihoods, and businesses. They would be homeless in their own homeland, aliens in their own state. It is truly a scorched earth policy. This is the beginning of the saffronization of Jammu and Kashmir, where Muslims would be reduced to a minority. Only the OIC has condemned these rules, which are identical with Hitler's Nuremberg laws that paved the way for the Holocaust. Now it is the Kashmiris' turn to face a genocide and pogrom. No other forum has taken cognizance of these crimes. India deliberately escalates hostile fire with heavy weaponry across the line of control to divert attention from its atrocities in the occupied Kashmir. This year, so far, it has violated ceasefire more than 850 times, causing fatalities and destruction. Its purpose is to signal to the world that the turbulence in Kashmir is not about Kashmiris' resistance, but about a potential nuclear escalation between India and Pakistan. Our armed forces have given a fitting response to the trigger-happy Indian soldiers by targeting their military posts. What is the way forward? Some Kashmiris have hunkered down for survival. There is civil disobedience, and there is also fierce resistance underway even as we speak. Neither India's coercion nor its blandishments are working in the occupied territory. While Kashmiris are literally under lock and key, we in Azad Kashmir in Pakistan are free to speak, free to reach out to opinion leaders and decision makers. The media, parliaments, and human rights organizations are amenable to our narrative. Let's use that space. Let's regain their attention. The challenge is that COVID-19 has eclipsed the Kashmir story, and India wants to use this opportunity to remove Kashmir from the global agenda. We would not let that happen. Kashmir has now become part of the great game, the game of clash of religions and civilizations. Kashmir and Indian Muslims in the BJP RSS mindset are synonymous with treason and terrorism. So it is going to be a long haul, and the fault lines of this clash are immensely incendiary. I've been proposing initiation of a boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement against India. Why should corporate leaders and entrepreneurs invest in a fascist regime? We are launching a hashtag virtual Kashmir diplomacy. Please own it, use it, and propagate it. The Arab street and governments have recently woken up to the ugly reality in India. They have warned India and Indians to discard anti-Islamism, otherwise there would be dire consequences. It is our historic responsibility as well to upend the Hindutva juggernaut. I would also appeal to Ms. Victoria Schofield to convey to the Labour Party leader, Honourable Keir Starmer, that Kashmir is a cross-party issue supported by the entire political spectrum of the United Kingdom. Conservatives, Labour, Lib Dems, and SNP. Revisionism under the pressure of Indian lobby will neither be prudent nor advisable. Post-corona, the world would be volatile. I can see that powerful nations will be pitted against one another. There would be a sharp rise in ethnic and religious nationalism and Islamophobia, trade wars and stiff competition on new technologies, artificial intelligence, blockchain, cognitive cloud computing, Internet of Things, and cryptocurrency would change the economic and political landscapes radically. Survival of the fittest and the richest will be the new order. The IFIs will take center stage and the UN a backseat. In this milieu, the space for Kashmir will shrink unless we demonstrate leadership. Challenges lie ahead, and they are phenomenal, but we will not dither or back off. Silence in these circumstances is dereliction of duty. We will continue our struggle by all means, including through virtual reality. Let me assure you that the people of Jammu and Kashmir will not capitulate, and they would continue their freedom struggle until they attain self-determination. Kashmiris are in shackles, but their hearts and minds and souls are free. I thank you. Azad Kashmir, Zindabad, Pakistan, Paindabad.